Well, assuming you cannot unravel the title of the previous recording and have no idea what I would be on about, let me just say it's about hope, isn't it? It's as simple as that. We don't understand what controls the weather. We hope it's benevolent gods. Doesn't seem to be too benevolent at times. Storms that wreck the place. So we come up with another theory that perhaps it's something to do with whether we had a good weather yesterday or whether we've had a long dry period and that's what caused the storm. And my goodness, the science of meteorology starts to evolve. And we hope that this is going to help in predicting the weather. The jury's still out, of course, as you know from weather forecasting, but we hope we're getting better at it, and it is this trust that leads us on to continue employing meteorologists and so on. When all said and done, the best prediction of today's weather is what was it like yesterday. There's a great tendency for it to be rather similar today. But in fairness to the meteorologists, I mean, they do better than that, don't they? What we take to be science has been, well, I've got a theory as to what the causal relationship association is. And if I'm right, then we would expect so-and-so. I do an experiment and find when I do so-and-so, that is what happens. Oh, yes, we do get that. And all we can say at the end of the day is, well, this theory seems to be better than ones we had earlier, in that it's explaining some of the things that we needed to know. We needed to know this relationship was there, and the complexities of it in some sense. We're clearer on it. There's going to be some imperfections because we don't have truth. We just have some broad explanation of what might be the case. And we face tomorrow accordingly with possibly thinking up an alternative theory that will be more useful, or an improvement of this one, which is more likely. Our science, our reasoning, is instrumental. Do you think if reasoning wasn't useful in some way, we would still be doing it? I don't think so. So, the religious theology of the ages, you could say, has come full circle. You could imagine it as from our beginnings of no religion and no conception of God. But that may just be a historicity, not true history at all. Perhaps given we're born of caring parents to some extent, we have it built into us, some notion of benevolence looking after us from the very start. I don't know. It's just another theory. What I do know is adherence to some theories seem to bring unhappiness and disaster, and adherence to others seems to bring joy and blessing. And that settles the matter. Which way I'm going to go? Get out of my way. You could say, you mean your understanding is motivated by self-interest? Yes. By survival. I value life. Don't you? Well, yes, of course, but I don't think you're going the right way about it. Well, you'll have to judge by the fruits of such, won't you? Are you getting happier and more fulfilled, or are you finding the sadness of life is overcoming those that you love and yourself? Choose you this day whom you will serve. Is it better to die expecting heaven, or expecting something less? Perhaps nothing at all, complete blank. The dead know nothing. Am I doing everything to make sure this last day and moment is right? Well, that's not my only motivation. What I'm doing, I'm also doing because I'm finding it's bringing joy and happiness. Pleasure, if you like. I don't despise pleasure. It's just another aspect of joy and peace and life and fullness of life. Am I so irrational that I'm led that way? I don't think so. If it is a breach of rationality, might I say I commend it to you. Thank you, Dad. You steady yourself and you say, oh yeah, but Marshall, what about all the evil that's in the world? I mean, the Holocaust and, the amount of dying out there continuously all the time, and pain and suffering. And I say, hang on, you keep on, even I'll be depressed. You're not going the right way. You are focusing on all that is not lovely. And you'll find it's not a case of revealing or focusing on truth. It's a case of making yourself depressed instead of happy. I mean, it's really as simple as that. From a negative attitude comes negativity. Depression, discord, war, loneliness, suffering, unlove, hopelessness. I won't go into the list too long or you'll get depressed, and I will too. Come with me. Whatsoever is good and lovely, think on these things. And when you are confronted with that which you cannot explain, I mean, I'm not really giving a good explanation as to why we have the Holocaust. You may have a bad explanation, namely it's the malevolence of certain individuals. I just have no explanation. And I don't dwell on it. You say, oh, you're wearing rose-coloured glasses, Marshall. Yes. I don't recommend you leave them off. I don't think any religion has really solved the explanation for horrendous evil. Minor things going wrong, yes, we can learn by them. But some of the things that go wrong are beyond us to say that we're benefiting. In what way has the Holocaust been a benefit? Pardon? I don't even want to attempt to go down such a road. I can't bear it. Am I saying that God's allowed it for a good reason? I don't know. And it would only be a theory if I did. And you would argue it does or doesn't best serve its purpose in explaining it. And so would I, and so it would go on. Just know that dwelling on the fact that God could exist, and could be, as I understand, he could be to be, and hope, doesn't just bring a passing lift in that it eases the stresses I'm under. But I seem to find as time goes on, there are fewer and fewer stresses that I'm having to cope with. You could say this is mind stuff, or you could say this is miraculous. I say and hope that it is both. that we are all mind stuff in what I would want to own as God's mind. Not only that, but I would want to own that God is perfect in some way, like my parents were good, but beyond my comprehension. And much of my childhood, at least one of my parents seemed not good. And one of my parents seemed to be an angel. And as I lived accordingly, it transpired that my view changed, that they were both imperfect, but both a blessing to me in certain ways. And it's the blessing I focus on, not their faults. And the result is, or is the consequence of, having a love for them. And I know that is part and parcel in something to do with my self-interest, that I'm casting it in a light that sees it as a benefit to me, both what Dad was, earthly Dad I'm talking about now, and Mum was. I find I'm a happier, pleasanter person by holding such a view. So I'm holding it. Perhaps you'll do likewise. Or perhaps you're caught in a 21st century state of mind that struggles to hold both good and bad theories, by which I mean explanations for what is around that are good, and explanations that are around that are bad. Some that seem to be associated with the possibility of God and life eternal, and some which seem to be associated with the reverse. Which way are you going to go? Or are you perhaps going to say, no, I'm going to hold both in absolute realism? Okay. It's a world of good and of evil. And it may be to some purpose, and it may not. And in this well-balanced state, how are you? Well, you're neutral as well. Neither very happy, nor very unhappy. Right. And as time goes on, how does this equilibrium state commend itself to you? Well, I don't know the meaning to life. Is it a valid question? You might respond. And if it is, well, I don't think I've got it. Except that life is what it is, isn't it? Now, I'm not sure if that is. Life is not what it is. Life is ever what it's becoming. Choose you this day what it's becoming. Do you have hope? Are you dynamized when you get up in the morning, or is it just another day? Or are you fearful of the day? Oh no, it's more worries. Worse than yesterday, I've just thought of so-and-so. I'm come that you might have life and have it more abundantly, is is the Jesus story. In fact, that you have life eternal, and he means life. He means heavenly life. He means, yeah, in my Father's house are many mansions, but I'm talking about where I want you to go. Do you see there is life? And it's change, and it's ever, you could say evolving, but the Christian has associated a terrible negativity with the word evolution, so I can't say evolving. So I'll say life is ever change and in the right direction as you see it, and the joy of it, and you want good. And what do you value? You value love. You value the same as what everyone else values. Peace, joy, love, hope, life, blessing, wisdom, understanding, enlightenment, compassion, grace, glory, affluence, abundance, shalom, 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 all blessing. Good. Go for it. And bless you. Thank you, Dad.